Greetings and welcome to Jefficho Films. This 2019 sci-fi horror deals with a creature in an isolated area. Those are usually my jam, but I was pretty disappointed with this one. But let's just get to it. Let's review The DustWalker. This movie starts out with a shot of Mars, and then something flying through space, going past the satellite and Earth, and crash landing in the desert. I'm assuming Australia, because everybody's got that accent. Well, let's just slow this down, because I don't want to go through this entire movie. Let's just see what IMDb has to say about this. Here's the small plot that it says. One by one, the residents of a small isolated town become infected by an insidious bug that turns them into violent, indiscriminate killing machines. Not true. Didn't quite happen like that. In fact, they all seem to just want to kill one person, generally somebody in their life or their family, anyone who's really close to them. Also, we never really saw the bug. We saw some animals and they were kind of deformed already, like they had been attacked by an animal, and then they had these little tentacles, like spikes that were like in them, and they would release a gas which would infect people.
What is this stuff?
So, yeah, that's not correct. Let's go with the second larger part. In a remote town in the Australian outback, a mysterious object crashes to Earth. When humans come in contact with the object, that person becomes lifeless and deformed. Now, by lifeless and deformed, they mean there's some CGI like veins that go up in their face and on their neck. And these changed humans seem interested in the town's children and kill those remaining humans who stand in their way. Not really. The one dad killed his daughter, and then he just kind of stared at everybody else to the end. He was like saying, oh, I want to kill the boy next, but like he never did.
And I have the other one.
The other what?
I want the boy now.
And most people just stood there because there's a missing budget here, and everybody just stood there. I mean, you could fix that with the scripts. You could fix it, but he didn't. Okay, let's just keep going here. The town sheriff and her deputy, along with a school teacher, a scientist, all try to keep as many children safe as possible and understand what is happening to the town. Really, there's 4 children in this and you lost one. So there was a baby at one point. Yeah, okay, so 5 children. Yeah.
Then let's put on.
Okay.
Other than that, no. This children plot thing is not there. Ultimately, the sheriff and her team of civilians and citizens are helped by otherworldly forces to contain the epidemic. Well, if you're talking about the creature that actually like hunts down the people that are infected, fine, it does that. That happens.
What the fuck was that?
And the movie just is so slow. It's so slowly paced. It starts out, sets up your cast. The only real established actor I knew in this was Jolene Anderson from Harrow Season 2 and Prey, the movie. And that's what led me to this, because I was like, oh, she's really good in Harrow. What else has she done? Oh, she did Prey? Huh? That was an okay movie. She did this? Well, not the same.
This town is not going anywhere. I came back, didn't I?
Came back because your sister got knocked up.
Best thing I ever did.
I mean, I liked her sister, and some of the supporting cast was nice. It's like these characters you could like if they had characters, but everything was so sparse. Like they're at this station for the police, and there's like nothing on the desks. These desks are barren. These offices are barren. They have one radio and a phone. I'm like, this is supposed to be a functional building? And same with like everywhere else they go. It's just like everything's a dilapidated building that they've barely used. There's a balcony kid crew. There's 4 kids and they all sit on the balcony generally, maybe 5, and they just stare. That's all they do up there. The balcony's barely holding on, according to Joanne. They're the sheriff, and they stare out this telescope. And the one girl saw the aliens crash in the morning, and she doesn't tell anybody till the end of the movie. And
I wanted to tell you, but I wasn't sure.
You sure now? I'm not gonna stand here and deal with this, so.
everything is so disjointed in this. They deal with something and then suddenly they're back at the other location, and you're wondering, like, did they know in this scene that they had just dealt with that? Because it doesn't seem like they did. I will say there's a storm that just blows up a lot of dust and it stays there. And yeah, it's not like 100% perfect CGI or anything, but it looks cool enough that I was like, oh cool, at least the storm looks good. Angela, who's like a photographer and a geologist, I guess, she drives through that storm, but then when she's driving, she just comes back out thinking she went straight, but it just brought her right back out, because that makes perfect sense. They deal with a lot of concepts of like friends and family that are just turned into something, but you don't want to kill them because they are your friends and family. But there was never really a cure for it. The one person that kind of came back was Bill, where like for no reason his like veiny stuff just kind of receded, and he's like, oh, what have I done? I killed my kid. I'm very sad about this. And then it like starts talking like this evil creature.
I killed him real quick. I snapped him out.
Of which we know the creature is actually kind of helping. Like, he obviously crashed his ship, some contaminants came out and infected the wildlife, and then bam, everybody starts getting infected and, you know, just standing there and doing nothing because, you know, they had nothing else to do. That's all they did. And then the creature goes around and he starts taking them, and it's just like, all right, well, it's cool you're on that side. At one point, the creature actually grabs like Michelle's mom, who's like the girl that likes to look through telescopes, and it's pulling Michelle because Michelle's mom is trying to attack Michelle. I guess it just wants to kill, everybody wants to kill their children. And then the sheriff comes out, she's like, wait, you can't take the girl, you can't take the girl. So she takes a shovel and she perfectly just severs the arm of the mom as it takes away. And it's just like, Michelle's like, don't shoot my mom, don't shoot my mom. But you can sever her arm and she can get pulled away and I won't make much of a fuss about it. Okay. Alright, you do that.
Don't take the
Eventually the creature just piles up all the bodies and it lights it on fire. And then what happens to the creature? I don't know. Everybody's life just goes back to normal. I mean, at the start we saw that Joanne was going to leave with her sister because her sister got knocked up like 8 years ago. And the kids in school and stuff now, and it's just, they were going to leave and go to the city, and the whole story plot is like, oh, they're leaving, and everybody's like, oh, you're leaving? Okay, bye. And then like, now they're not leaving. I guess Community, even though you're now at like, I'd say 40% less. And yeah, so that's how it all ends, is the creature does all that shit, and then they sit there and they're just like, I'm gonna stay. You're gonna stay? Okay, I'll stay. Cool. And the music just keeps going. It's just like, if you found suspenseful building music that didn't stop the entire show while nothing was happening, that was this music. Like, it just kept building. And there was this terrible sound effect. Like, these people would do this screeching sound like a whimpering dog or something, and it just kept happening. For what reason, I don't know. Because you could actually see them scream, but then this whimpering sound would happen. It was like a dozen times, and I'm just like, enough with this shit sound effect. You just keep using it. And everything was so intense. The music was so intense, and this movie was not. People just stood there, and they stared. The kids on the balcony are like, what's going on? And people are just walking away, and people are standing there and staring at them. Like, who gives a shit? Nobody important actually dies. Like, all the characters that they set up, they're pretty much all alive. They're all fine. I mean, yeah, like, people they know died, but that's about it. That's all you got. So there's actually no like emotional of like people losing like their friends and stuff, or, you know, being upset over that. At one point, like, Joanne's just like standing there, and the scene goes on too long. Like, yeah, I get it, she's freaked out and stuff, but she's just standing there shaking her hands and like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. And just like, yeah, I can't believe you signed on. Was the script better than this? Like, I thought this could have been like a hidden gem, but it should remain hidden. And I feel bad for that because I'm just crapping on this movie. But I read other people's reviews. I even watched a few reviews, and I'm just like, somebody give me something positive to say about this that I did not see. And I did not see that in any of those reviews. They all said like, oh, it had potential, and then it just, nothing happened. And that's what it was. And it's very disappointing because like, I know a lot of work goes into making a movie and you want it to succeed, but like, how do you not look at your script and just be like, okay, like we're super low budget here because we're not actually even use the creature much. At one point, the creature comes out and you see it and it looks pretty decent. They always put a lot of their money into that shot, but like just make something practical. Have it taking people away. This had a good 30 Days a Night like vibe to it, and it didn't pan out like that at all.
Hurry up.
Don't stop. Come on, keep it up.
Hurry up. Around the corner.
Keep running. Come on, keep running. Oh, fuck.
Luke! Run!
At one point, her buddy Luke is just like, hey, I'm gonna go be head of this investigation thing. Investigation of what? You're gonna go search for this creature that's disappeared? Nobody's seen it? I didn't see the spacecraft take off. So yeah, I mean, in the end, this could have been a lot better. And you could have looked at your script and you could have introduced a practical character. If you want to do this zombie thing, like, you should have treated it more like a plague, and you should have made them more violent than this. They were just doing nothing.
Is Anthony stoned or what?
Shit, where did he come from?
The girls on the balcony are just like, oh, we can't get off, somebody's blocked it. Yeah, somebody apparently moved a bed frame on the outside of the door and they can't get down. Of a balcony you could easily jump down to, but like, who did that? There was no reason for it. These people want to attack and kill you, but they just blocked you on there. None of this shit made sense. They're working against the alien, these like people that are just standing there and staring and walking away, and just, what are people doing in this movie, and why is it in the script? Why is something like not interesting in the script about it? Like, maybe if you get bit by a creature and your instinct is to go home and then like you end up hurting the people at home, that would make sense. I've seen that in movies. In fact, I think I've even seen that in 30 Days a Night. But like, this was just, there was no reason for half this shit. And it took them forever to introduce these characters and like what they actually do and what the whole point of anything is. And I mean, like, they're trying to show school, but there's four kids with that one teacher, and they're just sitting in the playground, and then they're hiding because this Bill guy is standing in the playground with bloody hands and he's just staring at them. It's just like, okay. And at one point the teacher actually leaves to go get the other two kids that went to the washroom, and then like she's back inside with the kids again, and then she like calls for help and she's like, hey, let's go. And then they go into the washroom and find one of the kids is dead. And it's just like, but you already went there. Like, the scenes are so disjointed that they couldn't put the movie together to make enough sense, it felt like. I'm done complaining about this. Don't watch this movie unless you really have trouble sleeping. That could help. And yeah, writer director did it both, and I hope you have more success in the future, because I doubt you made much money with this one. Sorry I'm crapping on this movie, because I don't want to crap on movies, but this movie is terrible. Well, as always, thanks for watching.